Hi, I'm Chet, and welcome to an all-new episode of Chet Chat. Guys, let's do this. Design show, Chet Chat. Design show, Chet Chat.
I'm Chet, and I've got designs. I'm Chet, and I've got designs. I'm Chet, and I've got designs for New Orleans. I'm Chet on LAE. I'm Chet on LAE. Chet Chat on LAE. Chet Chat on LAE. I'm Chet and I've got designs for New Orleans.
Guys, you know, a popular trend today is to have your event captured right on canvas. New Orleans artist Frenchie is here to tell us a little bit about a live action painting and to create a piece of work right here during our show. Frenchie, thank you so much for being here.
Hey, Chet, thank you.
So tell us about your work.
Okay, well, I like to set up in live situations and paint the action as it's going on. It all started when I was invited to paint Rebirth Brass Band at the Maple Leaf when I first moved to New Orleans back on January 25th, 9:30 a.m. 1997. So that lended into, hey, maybe I could capture the energy of maybe some chefs cooking,
right? Or
maybe capture the energy of some behind the scenes, you know, guys working on some movie sets, and and then I started painting on sidelines with football games. I was invited out to paint with the Saints,
right?
And that spun off into a bunch of other stuff. But basically, it's capturing the live energy of the moment, and that's what I'm going to do today here on your show.
So you have actually done a lot, because I've seen you on the sidelines of football games.
Yeah.
But tell us one of the highlights of your career. What was one of those things that you were like, God, this is just like an amazing opportunity?
Well,
was there that one time or one opportunity?
Well, that's real easy. Try not to get emotional about it, but it was the reopening of the Superdome. And we have all been through our journey after the hurricane. And so I get there way early, way before the game, and I roll in with all my gear. And I walk right in, I stand in the end zone, I set it down, and I just look around at the empty Superdome, and I'm just like so full of all these emotions.
Right.
And I start to cry, you know, thinking I'm alone.
Right.
And all of a sudden hey, Frenchie, it's okay. I cried my first time back too. And I turned around, and it was Steve Gleason.
Right.
And he was stretching out. And he's like, so we knew each other because he goes, well, we know each other. He goes to the Maple Leaf. We have the same music taste as well. So we became friends over the years. And so I was like, oh, man. And he was like, yeah, and we talked about it. We talked about the spirituality of the moment, and we could feel the energy that was already in the Superdome before there was anybody even in there. And then we said goodbye, and he went off into the locker room. Then the game started, and he blocked the punt. And it just, the place just.
Yes.
So as far as painting live events, I don't, honestly, I don't even want to top that.
Yeah, that's an amazing. I was there as well. That was an amazing event. Yeah. So you're gonna paint our set today. Tell us a little bit about the process that you're gonna do today.
Okay, I'm gonna come in with my canvas set up, get a good angle, try to capture some of the cameras. I like to get some of that background stuff in there. We got a brass band, the Lanyap brass band coming in. So lay down the guys in there, paint them all in, get this set right here, and try to capture, going to capture the energy of the Chet Chat show. Yeah,
that's awesome. I mean, I'm thrilled that you're here, but if more people wanted to get in touch with you about your work and, you know, see your work, where would they go to do that?
Great. Well, you go to Frenchie with a Y, L-I-V-E, FrenchieLive.com.
Okay.
Or you just Google Frenchie with a Y, and I'll be one of the first up.
I'm sure you'll pop right up. Right?
And then I have a gallery at 610 Toulouse,
okay,
across the street from One Eye Jacks. And then I have my original Uptown gallery, which is across the street from the Maple Leaf Bar on Oak Street.
Okay. Well, look, we are looking forward to seeing the outcome of your live painting. And once again, thank you for being here. And thanks for sharing that special story. You know, I saw you getting a little emotional. I did too. So that was a very special time. And, you know, New Orleans has really come back. And we've come back, I think, bigger and better than ever.
Absolutely.
And I appreciate you coming here and doing this and sharing that story with us.
Thank you, Chet.
Thank you so much.
You're awesome,
I really
man.
appreciate it.
Yeah, you're right.
You are. Guys, we'll be right back.
Wednesdays at 11 p.m. on LAE.
Guys, you know, festival time is all about the music. Here with us today is the Lanyap Brass Band, who will be performing at this year's French Quarter Fest. Chet, thank you so much for being here.
Nice to meet you.
So tell me a little bit about your band.
We're a 7-piece stage band here based in New Orleans. We play a lot around town, play on Frenchman Street, but we're here to bring the funk, you know, and here to show people a good time, you know.
And so this year, the French Quarter Fest, you guys are going to be playing. Can you tell the viewers where they can go and see you guys at the French Quarter Fest?
Yeah, we're going to be playing at the Old Mint stage.
Okay.
We're playing on that Saturday,
Uh-huh.
so you can look up the times on their website,
Right.
you know. So.
And I know you guys do a lot of stuff in the community. This year for Endymion, I was working for Fox 8 and did the
Right.
red carpet, and you
Absolutely.
guys were on one of the floats. Tell me a little bit about that experience.
Yeah, we were on the celebrity float with Ian Somerhalder. He's from the Vampire Diaries.
Right.
That was a really awesome experience.
I
you know?
bet. You guys look like you were having a great time.
Oh, it was great. Yeah, and he got a little happy on the cocktails, you know. So.
I saw that. So we're going to hear a performance by you guys, but if people wanted to get in touch with you to book you for their event, where should they go to do that?
You can check us out at lagniappbrassband.com, or you can email us lagniappbrassband@gmail.com.
Okay.
You know? So.
Well, thank you so much for being here, and
Absolutely.
we're looking forward to a performance from you
Thank
guys.
you, absolutely.
You're welcome. Guys, stay right there. We'll be right back with a performance from the Lagniappe Brass Band.
You're watching WLAE, New Orleans Public Television. Find us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
I know I waited, cause I'm feeling blue. I hope to pray for someone exactly just like you. Why don't you spend money on a show or two? I say I hope to pray for someone exactly just like you. You make me feel so good. I wanna get a word of you to make you understand, baby, that you're my dreaming steam. I'm steaming. Don't you know my mother taught me to be true? I hope and pray for someone exactly just like you. I say 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. That's where my life begins. I like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I say 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. That's where my life begins. I like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I say I wanna be a rug cutter. Swing out. I let it roll, let it roll, let it roll, let it roll. Say I wanna be a rug cutter. Swing out. Oh, let it roll. What you got, Ryan? Oh, I know why I waited, cause I'm feeling blue. I hope and pray for someone exactly just like you. Why don't you spend money on a show or two? See, I hope and pray for someone exactly just like you. You make me feel so good. I wanna get a one of you to make you understand. Baby, that you're my dream and team I'm scheming. Don't you know my mother taught me to be true? I say I hope and pray for someone exactly just like you. I say 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And that's where my life begins. I like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I say 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And that's where my life begins. I like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I say I wanna be a rug cutter. Swing out. Let it roll, let it roll, let it roll. I say I wanna be a rug cutter. Swing out.
You know, festival season means enjoying delicious food. Today we have Chop Champion from the Food Network Chop and Jazz Fest vendor Fireman Mike here. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, Chet, thanks for having me.
So we have something in common. I was on the Food Network.
I see
you
that.
were on the Food Network, but the
Yes.
difference is that you won.
Well, I'll take that win. It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, so tell me, just briefly, tell me a little bit about that experience.
It was just an incredible experience. I mean, the show shot in a whole day. It's like 14 and a half hours of shooting for that 1 hour of a show. But it's intense. The timing's just like you see it on the show.
Right.
The nerves standing in front of those judges, well, you know.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
yeah.
it's like you're just sitting there, what's going to be next?
What's going to
you
be
know?
next, yeah.
And it's just a real intense thing, you know, but it's cool.
Well, awesome. Well, awesome. Well, you did what I did, and I made sure that we brought New Orleans some respect, and we did us really well.
Absolutely.
So it's Jazz Fest,
Right.
and you're going to be out there this year.
I'm out there every year.
Every year. And so what are you going to be making for us today that you're going to be making at Jazz Fest?
Today I'm going to do my shrimp and grits. This is my biggest seller. I've been doing it since Katrina. And I also do shrimp and okra gumbo and alligator sauce pecan, but my alligator market kind of stays the same.
Right.
I used to do shrimp etouffee, but shrimp and grits is so hot, I actually switched it over and just made a tremendous advance in my business. Unbelievable.
Awesome. So we're going to do a little mini version of Chop. So
Yeah,
you know what
we
that
only got
means,
a few
right?
minutes. We got to do this fast. Yeah, what we're going to do here, we got some butter getting hot. I'm going to drop some shrimp in here. We're going to sear these shrimp.
So Mike, while you're doing that, talk to me. How long have you been a chef?
I've been cooking for about 30 years around this town. You know, I started with the original Del Frisco's Steakhouse, which used to be on the West Bank Expressway. People see it in big cities now because it's the upscale for Lone Star Steakhouse. But it started here, and I started with him, and I went to Houston, opened his second store. When I came back, I tried to get my old bartending job back at Bozo's, and the boss said, well, you were cooking in Houston, weren't you? I said, yeah. Well, now you're cook.
Right.
It's been that way ever since.
That's awesome.
Carmine's, Bozo's, Beauchesne Country Club, just a lot of the local places, which has just afforded me to work with some just great local people and learn a little bit from everybody. It's helped me out tremendously.
So you do a lot of cooking, but you're also a fireman at the same time?
I just retired. I did
Okay.
21 years on the fire department.
Were you the chef or the cook at the firehouse?
Yeah.
Did everybody go, Mike, cook us something?
I did actually always cook at my firehouse, but be careful what you ask for. I did a lot of I had that venue to go out and do a lot of cooking stuff, and I used to represent myself as the the resident chef for the New Orleans Fire Department. Well, then Katrina came, and we were all living in one spot. I was literally the resident chef for 500 guys cooking 3 times a day.
Did you create any fires?
No.
I
just kept them going. You know, I just kept them going.
Yes. So what are we doing next?
Well, we did here. We got a lot of garlic. We got a lot of butter. We got a lot of shrimp. The sauce out of this shrimp, the juice out of the shrimp is going to come and be real important to what my sauce is. I got a bunch of heavy cream that I've actually reduced to a point where I'm going to want it, because I knew we wouldn't have time for that. And that's what I'm saying about the juice of the shrimp and the butter and everything mixing into the sauce to actually create.
You know, I love this that Mike is here, guys, because for the simple fact that Mike and I are friends from the gym, but all this food that you're cooking today doesn't seem very healthy to me, but you know, I'm sure it's going to taste amazing, right?
Don't practice what I preach. Don't practice what I sell at all. And don't even let my trainer know that I'm cooking this.
Don't let mine know that either. Don't let mine know that either. And so how long do you cook this for?
You know, the shrimp cook rather quickly. The bigger part of this is actually waiting for the cream to reduce to actually where I want it. That's why I kind of pre-did that. So once I get a sear on the shrimp, and then it gets to the point where it is going to reduce, those shrimp are cooked.
Okay.
We add a little green. We got some corn in here. We added, when we created this recipe, we started thinking about a few things. You got to think ahead about what people would like, what people might not like. We didn't want to add mushrooms. We got the alligator. We have sausage in our gumbo, so we wanted to have something that had no meat in it. So we added a little corn just to add a little bite, a little crisp to it. But the garlic, the cream sauce is just incredible. People love it.
So I got to ask you, so a lot of people, when they cook, they said, you know, it makes them feel very good. It's kind of therapeutic for them. Is that how you feel about cooking? Because cooking makes me nervous, but for you, I got to feel that it's the total opposite, right?
Cooking is therapy for me, there's no doubt. But I got to say somewhat, and this might have more to do with my ego, I love to make people happy with food. I love to see their face. Man, when they go, wow, that's good. It's like, it's incredible. I was telling you, I'm an executive chef at Austin's now. I just did for this week, I did a sweet potato bisque with shrimp and crab meat in it. And it's like, you know, when a customer comes up to you and says, man, that's great. Every time I bite into that, I taste something different. I just beam. I'm like, you got it. You know what I was doing.
Yeah,
you know?
That's awesome. So we have a finished product here, right?
We do have a finished product here.
And you have made one for us. And, you know, of course, at the end of all these cooking segments, I got a taste. I'm actually going to be one of the top judges today. See if you pass or see what I can critique about it.
Well, as opposed to the other chefs that come with something, I did come with something, but I also pulled it off, and I can show you just how I do it at Jeff's.
Okay.
So I create what I call a Cajun corn cheese grit that has a little cheese in it, has some cream corn in it. That as I cook the grit, almost like you would cook a risotto. I keep adding butter, I keep adding the cream, I keep adding it to make it creamier, then a little cheese to make it stand up so my shrimp set up over the top.
And I'm from Cajun country, so I know what a good Cajun grit is like. So I'm gonna be hard on this judging actually.
So you not only could have one that was already prepared, or you could have one right out the pot, my buddy.
There we go. Thank you. I'm gonna go ahead and taste this, guys.
Make it a little hot. Can sell it?
It's delicious, actually.
Thank
and
you.
You know what's really great about it, guys, is the fact that the grit is so creamy and so smooth. And I think, you know, that's really important whenever you're making shrimp and grits. I know the shrimp is really important, but it's the grit part to me that really helps to solidify the whole meal, right?
You learn something every time you cook. And we, like I said, we created that grit because we wanted it to sit up. But you can probably taste what I learned was that as I started to mix it in, then that little bit of cheese that I just used to stand out, it adds another dimension. It's a whole nother part of that flavor package.
Okay. Well, look, I appreciate you being here.
Thanks,
it's been my pleasure.
Thanks for having me. It was great to see you.
And good luck on all the rest of the stuff that's going on. You know,
yeah,
a lot of other stuff that's going on.
Yeah, we got some stuff going on. We'll keep you posted.
We can't talk about it, but good luck with all that, and maybe we'll be seeing more of you.
Thank you. Thank you, Chet. Thanks
You're welcome. I appreciate it, man.
Thank you very much.
Guys, we'll be right back.
Hi, we're Ola High, and you're watching WLAE TV.
It's our favorite time of the show, DIY, but today we're combining DIY and design time together. And our good friend Buddy from Perino's Home and Garden is here to give us some great spring planting tips. Buddy, thank you so much for coming back.
You're welcome, Chet.
So it's springtime, and when I think of spring, I think of spring flowers. Tell us a little bit about the spring flowers and, you know, what you could have at Perino's.
Well, first of all, we had a very severe winter, and a lot of people's yards were devastated, so they're going to have to redo. So before I get to talking about the individual plants, I'd like to say you want to prepare your beds properly in order to be successful with these plants.
And is that important in order to have successful plants throughout the year?
Extremely important. How you start out your plants is going to make a difference whether you're going to have these things through the spring, summer, and fall, and that's possible with the right types of plants.
So what are we going to talk about today?
First of all, you need to get some good organic matter and build your beds up. Make sure you have good drainage and your beds are raised. I would say at least 4 to 6 inches above grade, and that's going to give you good drainage and give you some new fresh start for your roots to expand. What you want to do is you want to put your plants in, and when you plant them, you want to use a controlled release fertilizer. A lot of people are familiar with Osmocote. This is NutriCote. Both of them are very good. You put some in the hole when you plant them. But one thing about doing that, and that's going to give you 3 to 4 months of fertilization, get your plants off to a good start. But usually these controlled release fertilizers don't kick in right away. So what you have to do is use some type of liquid fertilizer. Many people are familiar with Miracle Grow. This is called Nature's Source. We like it at Perino's. I think it does a really good job. So you want to do this like almost on a daily basis until that NutriCote kicks in. Then you can go maybe to weekly.
And how long does it take for the NutriCote to kick in?
Usually about 2 weeks. And once it kicks in, your plants are going to take off. But
will you know when it kicks in?
You kind of will. You'll see those plants just start, really growing and thriving. But doing that liquid every day like this, it really gives them the water they need plus nutrition until the NutriCote kicks in. Then you go to about once a week on this and you're good to go. I'd like to also talk about a couple of tried and true plants and also a couple of new ones. The new ones first. This is a rose, and people are familiar with the knockout roses. They get kind of large sometimes. This is kind of almost like a miniature version of it. It's not a knockout. It's called Sun Rosa. This came out last year. It can be like a small hedge, blooms from spring to fall. I've never had to spray it. A lot of people say roses take a lot of care. Not that, almost thornless, and it's just really easy to take care of. Full sun. It's a hot summer survivor.
When you say came out last year, so this is a new
introduction last year. It's called Sun Rosa. It comes in a red and it comes in a yellow. Yellow is a little bit pale. I'm not crazy about it. The red is vibrant and really shows off. It's just starting to bloom. You see a couple flowers, but it's loaded with buds. Another plant here, this came out a couple of years ago. It's a celosia. It's called Intens. People are familiar with the old celosias. They call them coxcomb. You grew up with them. This is like a celosia on steroids. You put this in the yard, and I mean, it just really takes off. Get about 2 feet high and spreads, and that vibrant purple, kind of magenta color just really shows off.
Let me ask you a question, buddy. So you have to take this out of this pot to plant it. You can't grow these inside these pots because they will expand, right?
If you can grow, they do fine in a pot, but you're going to have to shift it to a larger pot. It's not going to want to stay in this small pot. But no, they do great in pots, but then your watering is going to have to be more consistent.
So the process of planting them in a bed and using a pot is the same, or is it different?
It would be different because if you plant it in the ground, you start making a root system. You won't be as, I guess, a slave to water all the time. Maybe every few days. But in a pot, you get into the summertime, it's still every day, because you're limited. And fertilization is going to be more important when you're in a pot even than when you're in the ground.
I hope you guys are paying attention. Buddy's giving you some great design tips.
Also, we have an impatient, which a lot of people look at, and this has been around for about maybe 10 years. It's called a sun patient. People say, well, that looks like a New Guinea. It looks a lot like a New Guinea. New Guineas came out as a sun-tolerant impatient, but in our heat and our humidity, you want your New Guineas in the shade. This one thrives in full sun, blooms from spring to fall, and if you have a mild winter, it'll go through the winter. It's incredible. This thing, and it'll get maybe 2 feet high by 2 feet wide, takes up a lot of space. It's one of my favorites. It's really good.
So coming from someone who does not have a green thumb, but I'm trying to, I think my problem is overwatering. How do you know if you're overwatering plants, or haven't had enough water?
It's difficult. If your plants, if you haven't watered, say in a day or so, and you're starting to see some wilting, you know that it's underwatering and you need to get out there and water them right away. So you never want to see your plants wilt. Now, if you're watering daily and my plants really still aren't thriving, you have to look to overwatering. That's possible. That's why you want to build your beds up and make sure you have that good drainage, because if you get rain every day, you're going to have problems.
Right. And so we got to wrap up, but this is really good, useful information. If you had to give one tip to the viewers telling them what's the best way to take care of their plants, what would that tip be?
I say it's so critical how you start your plants.
Gotcha.
You know, not you're spending money on plants. You know, you're not going to go to the box store and buy a 99-cent bag of soil and say, I made this great deal on soil. That might be fine for filling your lawn. Start out with a good soil and fertilization and watering. Those three things with the proper light, you're going to be successful.
Perfect. And so if people wanted to go to Perino's and buy your products and use all this useful information that you've given us today, where can they go? Where is Perino's located?
We're at 3100 Veterans, just off of Causeway, almost cat-a-corner from Lakeside.
Okay. And once again, we thank you for coming back. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it.
All right, good.
Thank you. Guys, stay right there. We'll be right back. Let's check out the finished product. Frenchie, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
We'll see you guys next month on another upcoming episode of Chet Chat.